We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let's start with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare. Let's do some Radha jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. We are in chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga. Yes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Let's read the purport. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of the Eightfold Yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the Eightfold Yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of Karma Yoga or acting in Krishna consciousness is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self interest or some personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. So, today, whatever we are doing is motivated with self interest. Otherwise, we are not doing it at all. Even for our family members, even for our loved ones, we do things which has our our interest, or which may have something in return for us. For example, like in the olden days, the parents wanted a son. Why? They wanted a son so that the son would take care of the parents when they are in old age. Correct? So again, the motive to produce a son, a child as a son, is self-interest. It's not for the goodness of the world or the humanity. Nobody, nobody wants a son who will go and fight in the war and uh, you know uh, surrender to the country. Or nobody. They all want it for self-interest. So similarly, there are many things that we do which we feel are unconditional, but actually they are conditional. Everything we do is conditional. It has it is done with the intention to return something to us. The criterion of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view to enjoying the fruits of the work, right? So again, that is enjoying fruits of the work. So whatever you are doing so that you are getting something out of it, even if it is satisfaction, or even if it is something that brings you how do I say, as a mom, when even when our children eat food, it brings satisfaction to us. So we are always pushing them to eat. So again, we are pushing them to eat because we want to feel satisfied that they have been fed. Again, that is also a self-interest. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutionally parts and parcel. This, this Pavika. And go brush and come. I brush. You brush? No, I don't. Mm. Okay, let's continue. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self satisfaction but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the supreme whole and not for personal satisfaction is the perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. And this is very difficult to do because it is very painful. And and they endure the pain because they want to satisfy the supreme whole and not themselves, right? And they feel, and they, as per their own knowledge, they feel, they know that if they go through this, then it will satisfy the supreme whole. Yes. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotra. Therefore, they cease to perform Agnihotra Yagna, that is fire sacrifices. But actually, they are self interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Yes, to become one with impersonal Brahman is also a self interest goal. You have to be always in surrender and not in the wanting mode. Whatever I am doing, I hope it is towards the right path. And I'm sure I will get the right path whenever I am ready. But not because, okay, I'm doing this so that I get this. No, that's not the intention with which you should start working. So many people donate because with the intention that it will look good on their income statement or tax statement. So all of that is artificial. So do it with bhav, do it with intention. And of course, getting the benefit is a byproduct. You may get, you may not get. It's like that. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self interest, right? Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half open eyes, seizing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self interest. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self satisfaction. His criterion of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi, a perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way. In quotes, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Yes. Let's move to text 2. Let's move to text 2. What is called renunciation you should know to be the same as you or linking oneself with the Supreme, O son of Pandu. For one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Yes. So, yogi in real terms, not in material terms. Let's read the purport. Real sannyas yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the Supreme. When he is entrapped by material energy, he is conditioned. And when he is Krishna conscious or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the senses from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. Wow. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses as prescribed in Jnana and Yoga processes is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. So you automatically come in yoga when you are in Krishna consciousness because you are continuously sacrificing and not adhering to any of sense gratificatory activities, self self interest activities. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then Jnana and Yoga are of no avail. Yes. So if you're not going to give up on self-interest activities, then no matter how much yoga or dhyan you do or knowledge you acquire, it's not going to benefit you in the end for your real aim. The real aim is for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. Yes. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self enjoyment. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self satisfaction because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. Yes? Because we have to always be in action. See, there are times when you feel lazy and there are times when you feel like doing things. So what happens if you're feeling lazy? You are not in action, right? So when you are not in action and you are lazy, what is the result of that? Are you satisfied? Do you feel satisfied? No. You feel even more lazy. Even more lazy, even so you so much lazy that you reach a state of inertia and then you don't want to live because living will make you do actions. Even somebody don't want to get up from the bed and brush their teeth or do anything. They just want to lie on the bed, being lazy. But ultimately, that laziness is going to lead you into depression because you are not giving what your body and your mind needs. You are not giving things which a human body requires, which is activity. So, when we also plan a pleasure trip, we are continuously in action. It is not a trip where we relax and sleep or we are continuously at least engaged in something. But the things that we engage ourselves are more for feeding our soul than feeding our self interest, right? Than feeding our duties, right? So if I tell you to take a break of 2 days and come back from this kind of work, you are going to feel better because once you come back and you start doing this kind of your work, you will feel more fresh and you will have more likeness to do it, right? All purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Yes. When you are Krishna conscious, all purposes get served. All the purpose of body, mind, soul, all gets covered. In yoga, only purpose of body is covered. Okay. In dhyan, only purpose of mind is covered. But when you are in Krishna consciousness, all three are covered. Purpose of body, purpose of mind, and purpose of intelligence. All three are covered. Yes. Let's move to text 3. For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoke system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. Yes. Let's read the purport. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may it may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to perfect self realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called the Yoga Rurukshu stage, and the highest rung is called Yogrudha. Yes. Concerning the Eightfold Yoga system, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercises, are considered fruitive material activities. All such activities lead to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. Yes, he stops all activities, mental activities which are disturbing, right? So, meditation and yoga is only a way to get your mental state proper. And that is again fruitive, right? So, you can start from there if you are not a Krishna conscious person. A Krishna conscious person, however, is situated from the beginning on the platform of meditation because he always thinks of Krishna. And being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna is considered to have ceased all material activity. Let's move to text 4. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in future activities. Let's read the purport. When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in future activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder. Let's move to text 5. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Yes, let's read the purport. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from the attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. Yes. So meditation and yoga will help you get some control over your mind because the mind is the only person, only, how do I say, only thing that can even control your senses or even opposite of that, even can get flown in your senses. So if you can control your mind, you can control your senses. If you cannot control your mind, your senses will not be under control at all. Yes. So by meditation, this is possible. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in material world because the mind is involved with the false ego which desires to load it over material nature. Yes. ईगो है हमको और चाहिए नहीं ये कम है और चाहिए. So whatever you are getting is actually enough for you. But if you keep desiring for more and more, and when you achieve that more, you will you will become egoistic. You will have a sense of pride that I achieved it, or you will become angry that you could not achieve it. Other people have it, but you don't have. You'll become angry on it. So you are only desiring, desiring, desiring. So this material world will actually make you keep desiring material things, and we have to come out of this desiring nature. Correct? The very nature of material is to desire material things. Therefore the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature. Yes, and in this way the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. And the best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point, that is, the one must do this. It is also said, Mana eva syanam, sorry, syanam, karanam bandha mokshayo, bandhaya visaya sango, muktyaya nirvisayam manaha. For man, mind is the cause of bondage, and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from sense objects is the cause of liberation. Arma Bindu, Amrita Bindu Upanishad 2. Therefore, the mind is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation. So, whenever you are engaged in Krishna consciousness, you will already feel liberated because you will start understanding that these material things are really not required. Even if I have two pairs of clothes, I'm happy because I have clothes at least to cover my body. And slowly, slowly, your sense of looking good or looking presentable, or no, I want, if I wear this, then I will look good. If I wear that, I will look good. So, looking good, image coaching, being presentable and everything, we get is to some extent it's okay, but we get so flown away in it that we keep loading more and more material things. So that's why the concept of minimalist has finally arrived in this period as well. Because see, everything is expensive, so we buy something, one thing, which can go for all kinds of future activities. For example, a mother for example, a lady will buy one pair of shoe, which will actually go on all her saris or all her dresses or all her formal attires, western attires. So if she does that, there is no need to buy for another 20 pairs of shoes just to go with this, go with that and everything, right? So you are becoming minimalist. And of course, in that, you are saving a lot of material energy, which is money and time, right? And also, you are emptying your mind with uh, the meaningless speculation of whether I'm looking good or not, right? This is available. This is what we are going to use. We will see. So a lot of attention is drawn towards the real work that we are doing rather than the artificial things that we put our mind on. Correct? Yes. Let's move to text 6. After this, we will close. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Yes. The purpose of practicing Eightfold Yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga for show is simply a waste of time. Yes. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of God, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.